Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
It's 7:30. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on. We have a small, cozy group, so it's going to be exciting. Everybody gets a little one-on-one attention.
I'm viewing.
What's that?
One person. That's me.
Oh. What time is it?
7:31.
Okay, guys, it's 7:31. Some people are going to be watching this on the replay, and that's completely fine. We're starting with you guys with the camera kind of a little bit back so that you can see the buffet prior to us getting started. Just move it back just a little bit more. So what we're going to do, in the beginning it's going to be a little bit of talking, but I first want to introduce myself. I am Debbie, we're Chalk It Up Fancy out of Pine Bush, New York, and we paint furniture for a living. And me and Jamie, just after we saw this hutch, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to maybe host a little bit of a class to teach some people and just share with you the things that we've learned over the last 3 years. Things that we've learned, you know, actually just from even some bad experiences. So I'm going to just start by, so I'm Debbie and this is my daughter Jamie.
Hi. Hi, Julie. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Julie. You want to talk a little bit about yourself
Sure.
quickly?
My name's Jamie. I'm the daughter. I'm a mom. I have 2 boys, and we just found this fun and relaxing for some getaway time for the kids.
Yeah. I'm also a grandma and a mom and a wife. So basically, I first wanted to just talk about how we've come across furniture. Me and Jamie do pretty much yard sales, side of the road. We do auctions. If you research your area, you may be able to find some online auctions. We find them to be pretty lucrative. And Craigslist.
Yes.
You go on Craigslist, you push free. There's a lot of great free pieces of furniture out there to be had. But one thing that we've learned from filling our basement full of broken furniture, really do your due diligence to look over the piece. Some of the major things we look for is broken legs. A lot of times legs have been repaired and you're not going to see it unless you're looking for it. And sticky drawers. Sticky drawers, if it's a little sticky and you give it a little pull and it opens, that is something I probably would bring home. But if you're really struggling with it, just leave it. There's so many nice used furniture out there for little, even just a little bit of money, that it's not worth filling your basement full of a bunch of broken furniture, because you're not gonna, unless you have somebody that is handy and that's gonna help you, just stay away from it. There's so much out there that you don't have to go down that road. And then we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning once you get it home.
Yeah, so to prep the furniture, we've tried a few different things. You could do like a white vinegar if it's 50-50 with water. Even just some water with a very little bit of soap.
Dawn. Dawn is
Dawn.
the soap of preference.
Or something like a Crud Cutter. Now, what I recommend is like a washcloth, a softer washcloth, and you're going to get your bowl and you're just going to scrub the furniture really good. If you have a lot of detail, you want to really get in the crevices where like the dirt builds up through the years.
And in this particular piece, there's a lot of crevices. Guys, there's so much detail and stuff. And that's when we bring out this little hand
This
tool.
little brush, toothbrush, anything small with bristles that you could really clean up. And the key is, after you scrub everything, you want to then rinse it with just plain water. So you want to clean it really good, and then you just want to rinse and get all of...
Yes, because the biggest key is paint does not stick to dirt. And a lot of times, especially with older furniture, you don't know what it's been exposed to. It could be in a basement with grease or whatever, and you just want to really, really give it a good scrubbing, maybe even 2. The biggest key, though, is you have to wait at least 24 hours for it to dry completely before you start going into your prep. Jamie, why don't you just take a few minutes to see if there's anybody asking questions? I'm trying not to talk fast. It's very strange, just so you guys know, talking to a phone. It's kind of like having a conversation, like no conversation, like a one-way conversation. So it takes a little bit getting used to. So I apologize if I sound a little nervous. It's just, it is a little strange. Prep.
So prepping, yeah. What we use, we prep with, depending on the piece of furniture, right? Our go-to is really shellac, though. A clear shellac.
You can get it at pretty much any hardware store.
And then these foam brushes, and we really recommend the Jen. It'll say, I don't know if you could see that.
Right on the stick.
Right here, it'll say Jen.
Anything else just falls apart. Or even, believe it or not, when it's shellac, you can go right to your dollar store, get cheap brushes, throw them out. Shellac has a very strong odor. You may even want to wear a mask.
Yeah. And when you apply it, you're going to do everything. And you just really want to watch for drips. Catch the drips before it dries. It'll just save you time in the long run.
Yeah. And we usually that's usually what, we'll have 2 brushes. So we'll have one applying and one dry one to catch any drips as we're doing our shellac.
We do recommend 2 coats of shellac. This just prevents any possible bleeding that could go through the furniture. And if you,
if you think it's going to be a real bleeder, which is usually mahogany, this appears like dark wood, but I don't believe this is mahogany. But who's to say? And also with a lot of the older tannins and the older chemicals that they used to use, a lot of times you can get bleed through from that. So you could use bin. And still, I usually will still do the shellac, then the bin. And bin usually comes, I think it's bin 1, 2, 3. I don't have a can of it, or I'd show it to you. To be honest with you, I don't really love to use it, only because it has a white color to it. So if you're painting with white or a lighter color, it's not that big of a deal. But if you want to do a distress where you go down to the wood, that's when I try to stay away from it. But sometimes it's unavoidable. I just finished a gray round table, and I started with 2 coats of shellac, and I was getting some bleed through, so I had to. So that's something to always remember. Guys, it's just paint. The day that I realized that and I just told myself that is when I started to really get, I want to say I blossomed as a painter, because a lot of times you go and get a piece and you're afraid, you have this fear of trying something new. And honestly, that's a good time to go and get that piece of furniture off the side of the road and do things that you're afraid to do, because you can just put it right back where you found it. But what was my train of thought when I went into
the bleeding? So
yes, so you can always go back. It's never too late. Chalk paint is just very forgiving. And if I start to see bleed through and I've gone to my first coat of paint and I'm seeing it, I just go back to the beginning, not so too much back to cleaning, but I will go back and maybe try another coat of shellac, and then I may paint another coat. And if it bleeds through, then I'll try the bin, and I'll just do light coats so you're not getting this really thick layer of paint. But it's always fixable. You can always go back and redo your steps when it comes to, from the prep on.
Okay, Julie has a question. I don't know if our videos are delayed where her question and our voices, but Julie asks, what is the purpose of using the shellac? What is the benefit of prepping with it? So I think it's to help prevent.
Yes, the biggest purpose of the shellac is just preventing any bleed through. If I'm going to use black, and sometimes if I know, and there are some things you're going to really start to figure out from experience, but mahogany or dark, older furniture is almost a guaranteed bleeder. And it can actually make your white paint look pink or your gray paint almost look like, I hate to use this word, but it actually looks like urine. It just looks like a yellow, dingy, it does not look nice. So that's really the purpose. So I think it really depends if you have a plan and you know what your final outcome is going to be. If I know I have a bleeder and I don't want to go through all that, I go with dark colors, mostly black. Black or dark blues. There's something in the color that it doesn't bleed through. So,
because over the years of people caring for their furniture, they use different cleaners and stuff, so.
Yeah, Pledge too. Pledge, after years of Pledge, that's another reason why you want to do really good cleaning, is because you want to get all that stuff off. So, do you have to use the shellac? No. But because we're selling our furniture, you know what? Time is money, money is time, and I just do it because it's an inexpensive product, and
it works well.
It does work. So you'd rather be safe than sorry. You'd hate to put all this time and effort into something and do a beautiful paint job, because believe it or not, sometimes bleed through doesn't come right away. It could be over a couple days and all of a sudden you'll start seeing it peek through. And another thing is, a lot of times you won't see it until you put your final coat on, which if you use a polyacrylic, or even we are a retailer of Wise Owl paint, and this entire class has nothing to do with that, but they do have a very good varnish that's clear, and if I get any bleed through, I know it's not the varnish. It's definitely somewhere in my prep something went wrong. But that's a lot of times where it will show itself, is when you put your final top coat on, and that's when it's hard. It's all paint and it's all easy to go back, and so you get to that place, you can still go back. It's a lot harder because now you have a top coat. So that's really why.
Yeah, so thanks for asking that question. She said she's going to be selling her furniture too, and she loved that piece of advice.
Yeah. Take it, because trust me, I've finished a piece and then, I finished a piece and then have it turn brown, and it's upsetting. Especially since now I've gotten to where I do put a little money into some of the pieces that we get. Like when it comes to these buffets, I will spend up to $200 for the buffets, only because they're hot right now and people are spending the money. And I want to make sure that I do everything the way I'm supposed to. Brushes. So our choice of brushes, when you have a flat surface, we use these 4-inch foam rollers. Another thing I want to say is, this is just these are things that me and Jamie have grown to like. It doesn't mean it's the only way. I'm sure there are maybe painters out there that say, oh, I like this or I like that, and that's fine. We're just showing you what works for us. So these 4-inch foam rollers is what we use for the flat surfaces, the top, the sides. And if it didn't have all this detail, we would use it on that as well. I use this on as much as I can. You save paint, and you get a nice, consistent finish.
And then for paintbrush, we have grown to really like the Klingon brushes. You never actually lose a bristle when you're painting.
Yeah, that can be frustrating too.
They're soft, so when you have all the detail, the bristles really get into the detail. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about how?
Yeah, the only thing with these, I'm going to say, is the way you have to store them. They don't like to be stored dry. So we always have There is a fancy container that they make. Let me get really close to this. This comes with different numbers. I know everything's probably gonna be backwards, but this is 040. This is my favorite size, and it looks small, but believe it or not, this thing holds a lot of paint. It does a great job. And we have all different sizes. But the only drawback to this is that it needs to always be in water, and it can't be where you put it in a can and it's pushing. It has to always be elevated in water, and you only want like maybe the tip of it in water, and that's how you store it until you're ready to use it. So when you start to use it, it's wet. There are other great brushes. Annie Sloan has a great brush, but I am saying they do lose bristles. This one does not lose any bristles, because when you lose a bristle and you go back later to pick it up, there's a whole spot of no paint. So
Sam asked if we recommend a certain brand of the foam rollers.
Yes.
This is the label off of this one. I don't know if these are
But to be honest with you, I got these ones and I don't recommend them, and I only grabbed them because it was easy for me. I mean, it'll work fine. The only reason, this I got from True Value. So these are fine for a one-time use. But all these things that you're using, like we're gonna wet this, if I start a project, I use the same roller. I'll put it in a Ziploc baggie, or I'll wrap it in tin foil, or you can put it in a bag, and it'll be good when you go back to use it, if you're gonna use it like the next day. So we're gonna be using this project for the next 3 days. I'm gonna use the same roller. And that's the only reason that I don't really like the True Value ones, is they start to fall apart kind of right away. And, but I do recommend from Lowe's, the 4-inch foam rollers from Lowe's.
And they have
Those ones you can wash and almost get a couple uses out of them. So, I don't know the brand, but I think there's only one brand when you go to Lowe's.
yeah.
They're 4-inch
They're
rollers,
4-inch.
and you can get your first pack. You can get the metal holder, and then there on out you can just get the rollers.
So Julie's asking the brush brand. So the brushes we recommend are Klingon. They come in all different, like oval.
Yeah, there's a slant.
There's a slant. There's a short handle.
If you go on our website, tell her that.
But these are the ones we have on our website. So you can always check that out, chalkitupfancy.com. And each description of the brushes are there as well.
Yes, and you'll see there's different numbers of them, of the Klingon. So you can check that out. And actually, maybe we'll do a giveaway with the brushes. So, up until now, does anybody have any questions? And you know what? You're going to be able to watch this video for over a month, or for a month. So if you have any questions even after that, just inbox us. It's, you may not find that you have questions till you start working on a piece, and you just be like, Debbie, Jamie, I'm running into this situation, what do you suggest? And we may be able to help you out. Before we get started painting, I think that was it, Jamie, right? On just when I first started, we would tape off every drawer. With the way I do this now, I just leave everything intact and I just paint right over it. I'm going to tell you just to do what you're comfortable with. This is all doors, this particular piece. There are drawers inside.
Yeah, remove your hardware when you're cleaning it.
Yeah.
And make sure you clean where the hardware was removed.
Yeah. So when we get started, we're just going to paint right with everything shut. As long as, the biggest thing I recommend is that when you're, can they see, Jamie? When you're hitting like the door areas.
I'm just going to move you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, move them closer. When you're hitting the door areas, and I usually start from the center and I come out, and as I get around, like this is a door. This thing has got so much detail it's hard to even see. I just kind of lighten up, like I'll maybe fill all this in, and then I won't re-dip with paint, and I'll take what's on my brush and kind of go around. I go right over the hinges and everything, and I have yet to have a problem. I like the look, and that's what I basically do. You just don't want to take a whole glob of paint and start shoving it in that door area. You want to have as little paint as possible to go around that. So we're going to get started painting, but I'm going to move, just leave the camera there, Jamie. I'll move it up when you start to roll.
Okay.
Tomorrow, because I feel like we, except for watching us paint, and you may find that to be boring, I'm not quite sure. Tomorrow we're going to we're going to do a whitewash. So I'm going to paint gray right now. We're going to use, it's called,
Right there.
We're going to do our first layer with smoky quartz. You can kind of see the little drip there on the side, so you can see the color gray. It's like just a nice, really pretty gray. We're going to start with smoky quartz. We're going to do the whole thing, and then I'm going to do a second coat before our next live. So you're going to want to do 2 coats. And then tomorrow night, we're going to do a whitewash and cover the whole thing. A whitewash. We'll show you how to do that. And we're going to start painting some of the detail. And if anything that you get out of this really prep is the most important thing with whatever you do. But another thing I would really like to see you get out of this is how to make your piece stand out. And it really comes from the final touches and the detail. So I'm excited to get to that part. And that we're going to do several different colors. When I pick a piece of furniture, I try to think of at least 3 colors, possibly even a 4th. And sometimes I change my mind and I add, other colors to make it stand out. Especially when you're selling your furniture, like Julie says she's going to be doing. There's a lot of people doing this, and you want, when they look at it, they say, that they notice it's you. And that will come to be the more experience you get. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start. Great tip, guys. We are paper plate lovers, and we cover all our paper plates with tin foil, so that at the end of the night when we're done, we just take it off and throw it in the garbage. So Jamie's going to, and I also use these. You can't really store your paint in this. But when I know I'm doing a quick paint for maybe a couple days, it can stay in this. And it's just easy to pour. And you can get them right at the dollar store. Guys, the dollar store is my favorite friend. I'll tell you when you need to spend money on certain things. But use the dollar store. So I'm gonna bring the camera up so you guys can kind of see how the roller works. Your first coat is not going to look like it's grabbing. You're going to want to just keep going over and over it. And my suggestion is to not do that. Here, wait, Jamie, I just want to see. All right, go ahead.
If you need to see us, I think you can swipe the comments to the left or to the right, and you'll be able to get rid of the comments so you can see what I'm doing. And don't be shy, with the paint. You're going to roll it on.
Yeah, you want to use a liberal amount. But the thing is, you just don't want to feel like you have to keep going back over the same spot, because the chalk paint just keeps lifting back up. So you're going to put it on, you're going to say to yourself, this is not, it's going to look uglier before it looks nicer. Your second coat is just a completely different thing. Mm-hmm. Could you move your plate a little bit, Jamie?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Here, Jamie, go up that way.
I'm not in the way right now, you're moving.
I'm hoping you guys can see this. Facebook only allows you to hold your phone one way for you guys to see, so I apologize. I'm trying really hard.
Like they can.
Another thing with the rolling is you just want to, you don't want to press. You just want to kind of like, because if you press too hard, you get these actually little grooves, which is fine. You can sand them out, but you get a nice smooth finish if you just let the paint go on as it wants and not over press on the roller and just keep moving on. Your second coat, you're going to fill in a lot of stuff. So I'm going to let this back down, and I'm going to start painting the door so you can kind of get an idea of what that's like. Hope I'm not giving you guys vertigo. Okay, I'm going to start painting this. So,
Do you have your brush?
So I'm going to pour my own paint over here.
Is there any questions? Okay, they said they could see it.
Yeah. I'm completely blind without my glasses. So, see, this paintbrush is awesome. I'm not just saying that because we sell it. I'm serious. Anybody that talks about this, it just goes on like butter. I just love the way it moves. So when I'm doing a door or a drawer, I always start in the center and then move my way out. And then as I get close to the door openings, I kind of let up a little bit. I go right over the hinges, personally. And the reason I started doing that is at one point I used to take the doors off and tape all around, and what happens is once you paint, these doors don't go back on the way you took them off. They sit crooked, and sometimes they don't even open and shut. So I've just learned to just leave well enough alone and leave the door right on. I love this color gray. This is gonna look so nice with the whitewash.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Now whitewashes, you're gonna learn that tomorrow, but you can do any color. You can go darker. If anybody looks through our Chalk It Up Fancy, we just did a round gray table that's very similar to this color. And I did whitewash, and it looks like black glaze, but I actually did that with paint as well. I think we're going to do a giveaway with one of these brushes. Because really, me and Jamie decided to do this class, and you know, it's only $14.99, please. We weren't doing it to make any money. It's just, when I kept showing this, I was going to do this live on Facebook, and the more I kept showing this buffet, I just had all these people coming out, and they were just so upset that we were going to be painting it. So I just had this vision of me going Facebook Live painting this particular buffet, because it is a gorgeous buffet, but let's face it, it's gaudy, okay? I think it would have been really hard for me to find somebody that would like it in the state that it's in. There's somebody out there that would like it, but it's going to look a lot more attractive painted, I think, personally. But if I went live, I would have had a lot of people mad at me. And I do respect those people. You know, everybody has their own taste. You know, some people just have a hard time watching us paint it. But this is what people want. So if you want to make money, you gotta do what people want. But I feel like this gray is just gonna tone this right down. It's gonna calm this down. So I don't want to, there's no way you guys are gonna want to sit here and watch me paint this entire buffet, but I wanted to give you just an idea of what it looks like to paint flat surfaces and what it looks like to paint things with detail. It just takes time. And when I get my first coat in, I try to hit as much as I can so that my second coat is so much easier. My second coat will just be like a surface coat. And sometimes I don't even do a second coat, but that's another story. Depends on what I'm doing. So I hope this was informative.
Does anybody have any questions?
I don't,
or-
yeah, Julie wants to know how old this piece is.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna throw a guess out there, and I'm gonna say, I believe this piece is probably 1960s, if I had to guess. I did look around for markings. I do not see a name on it. But it reminds me a lot of the Berkey and Gay, which is a pretty popular brand from back then, and I want to say it's probably somewhere in the 60s. But this thing is perfect condition. It's like it came right out of a showroom. And actually the person had the original glass top still on it. So the top is in pretty good shape too. And it's heavy. Mm-hmm. But what I've been finding is the gaudier the pieces are, I usually get attracted to that because they're just so fun to paint, and they really end up being, you know, beautiful piece painted. Because if you have just a flat front type piece of furniture, it's nice, but all this detail really works with you, especially when you're looking to resell it. I just find that people they don't think they like gaudy, but they do like gaudy. It's painted. I'm trying to think of any tips, Jamie. Can you think of any tips that we can give as we're...
Drips. I know we talked about with the shellac,
Yes.
but even with the paint.
Even with the paint, you know, you want to check after, you know, a few times as it's drying. I mean, with the chalk paint, if you do get a drip, my suggestion, you can try sanding it. I find that doesn't really work a lot of times. Sometimes I'll take a razor blade, a really sharp razor blade, and just cut the drip out, and then just then sand it at that point in time, and that usually will take care of it. But if you could avoid them, yes, that does help.
So, Julie,
I'm sorry.
we don't paint the inside of every piece. It really depends on the condition.
Yes. I avoid it. I'll tell you why, is because the minute you start layering on paint, inside, outside, around the door, that's when you start running into problems of the door not wanting to shut. So it's just a judgment call. But if something's in really bad condition, we do paint the inside. Because you want it to, you know, people, when they come to look at it, they don't want to know what it looked like prior. They want to see a nice clean spot to put things. This one is particular. Oh, and you know what works really good in drawers too? Not to jump off the subject, I'll go get that salve, Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
This is we just found this. I'm slowly getting through and starting to use some of the Wise Owl things, but this is called Lemon Verbatim. It's a salve. And it's very easy to move around. It's almost like a buttery wax, but it's not a wax. But however they made it with essential oils. This smells so good. So a lot of times you'll get old furniture and it just has that stinky smell, and it is hard to get rid of. But this stuff, I just want to eat it. And it comes in Lemon Verbatim, which is my favorite. It comes in
Lavender.
It comes in lavender, and was it tea tree?
I think unscented,
and then there is an unscented. If scents bother you, there is an unscented. But when you use this, maybe one time I'll give a demonstration on this. When you use this, if you have maybe an interior of a drawer that's wood, it'll actually look like you put a little bit of a stain on it, right, Jamie?
Yeah,
it
like
kind of
brightens.
it livens up the wood. So it's another option for inside cabinets. But yes, we do paint the inside. I just avoid it if I. Another idea with drawers too, though, is you can do stenciling on the outsides without painting the entire thing, and just throw a stencil on the side, and that's a nice look without having to cover the entire thing with paint. Jamie, what time is it?
Oh. 8.
8 o'clock?
She's been on for 35 minutes.
So these little casters that we have down here, I think you can get these at Home Depot. I don't know if you guys can see them. And when you have a heavy piece like this, they come in handy so you can move it around. Because this sucker is really heavy. We're going to be here for a while with all this detail.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else, Jane?
I'm trying to think. At the moment, I think we covered.
It's kind of hard to move on to other subjects because I want to be able to show you. So, another thing, in about an hour or two, it's going to look like this is dry enough to put a second coat on. Listen to me. Don't put a second coat. Always wait the 24 hours, because what happens is the minute it gets wet, it's just going to lift right back up. And it's just a waste of time. And I just wait the 24 hours with each coat of everything. Does it need a full 24 hours? Probably not. I just do it because, you know, with the humidity we've had, you just don't know. And it's just better, even though you're in a, you know, I know me, I don't have any patience. I always want to
see the final.
Yeah, I get so excited that I just want to keep going, but I've just learned that it's not even worth it. Just walk away. Tomorrow's another day. You don't want to be fighting with paint, that's for sure. I can't wait to all this detail is gonna, with that whitewash, it's gonna be so nice.
This may be like a silly piece of advice, but when you
Nothing's-
have a lot of detail like this, you have to go in look at it in all different angles, underneath, because you'll be surprised how much you miss with all the curves and stuff.
Right, and if you get it the first
Lay on the
coat, the
floor.
second coat, you're not gonna have to be as precise.
Yeah.
But these brushes are great with that too, because they have those nice
Yeah.
long bristles and they get right in there. I want to see, who else is here? Do you find you have to be using? You guys are moving pretty quick. Do you find? I'm sorry, I can't say.
We answered that one.
Oh, okay.
Do you find you have to using chalk paint? No, it doesn't dry that quickly.
Yeah, no, we're just moving fast because. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Some of the top coats do though, like some some brands of the top coats do, but chalk paint, and actually, even if you feel like, say I didn't want it someplace, a little water will take it right off until it dries. Once it dries, it's a little bit different story, but it's water, what do they call it, water based.
Yeah.
All the products we use are water based. It wash, even if you get it on your clothes and you throw it right in the washing machine, it usually comes right out. Once it sets, if it gets set, if it doesn't come out and you put it in the dryer and it sets in the dryer, then it's too late. I think I got chalk paint on everything I own. So I'm gonna move this down. Watching somebody paint is probably boring. But it's very fun when you're the painter. Look at these ladies. You see that? These ladies, I can't wait.
Should I move it closer so they could really see?
Yeah, let me see if you can see this. Some of this detail in here. Do you see this little... Aren't they cool? These two women are the whole reason I wanted to buy this piece. Come behind you, Jane. There's a roll.
Yeah.
Get rid of that for me.
I can't.
I don't know why that timer keeps going off. I apologize.
You have to shut it off. You're snoozing it.
I can't turn that timer off.
Not without closing out the live or the video.
I wonder why I have a timer on.
I was just thinking the same thing.
This is mine and Jamie's first time going live this long.
Yep.
Isn't it cool? It's a very unique piece. Actually, Julie, this person was selling, and this is what I'm saying, it's hard because you want to kick yourself because I want it all, you know? But this person was selling the buffet. They had a cabinet that went with it. The only thing about the cabinet, I was very close to buying it. And I want to say I think I paid $100 for this, right?
Yeah.
Which was a pretty good deal, I felt, because
Yeah.
I will pay up to about $200 for these. But she had the cabinet, but the disappointing part of it was that the cabinet went flat to the floor. It had no legs. I don't know. It was a little bit of a turn off. If it had legs like this, I would have taken it. And she was also selling the table. Did she have chairs, James?
She did, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to find these buffets because I think people have...
Oh yeah, you have to jump.
You got to jump on it right away.
Get in your car and tell them you're on your way.
Yeah. And that's another thing, going back to finding stuff. You really have to be committed that when you see something that you just got to get right in your car and go. Another thing I've been doing is I've been buying some things before I even get there and just asking them to hold for me. I'll pay for it through Venmo. getting there, guys. And you guys won't be as lucky as me. I get to paint with Jamie.
Yes.
I have a helper. Makes life go so much easier. We're getting there.
Oh, this is going to be so pretty with all the detail.
Right,
I'm so excited.
We're gonna need a lot of paper towels for our whitewash.
Yes.
So Julie, where are you gonna be selling your, I think you told me you were gonna be doing are you getting a booth? Where are you gonna be selling your furniture? I think you're the only one in the, that is watching tonight that's gonna be actually having a business. Mm-hmm. So at this point, if nobody has any more questions, I think me and Jamie are just gonna, without keeping you guys any longer, we're just gonna finish this up. And tomorrow morning when I get up, or sometime, I'm gonna give it a second coat. I know it's not 24 hours like I told you guys, but I want to make sure it's ready for tomorrow night because I'm going to be spraying water on it, so I want it to have time to cure a little bit before that time. I think I'll be good. I'll be fine. So if you have any more questions,
I will have a booth at a store open called Heartland Harvest Market.
good for you.
Can you get Seymour?
Good for you. I can push Seymour, James?
Yeah.
Awesome. And James and Sam says I have all hand-me-down furniture. Hey, that's the best kind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks so much for joining us. Me and Jamie love helping people out because there was a time that we didn't know anything and we appreciated the people that helped us out. And you know what? You will learn, whether it's the hard way, you will eventually learn. But it's nice when you can get a few tips to prevent some of the unfortunate, or at least when you see it, like when you see the bleed through, you'll remember that we discussed it, and you'll know exactly what to do. But if you follow those steps, you're not going to have any problems. You shouldn't anyway.
There's a couple. I just can't care when I grab. I can get it.
What?
Just some people saying stuff.
Hi. Thank you, Christy. Thanks for joining us. We're coming to the home stretch. What do you think left? Help me in the front here. I probably, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm just trying to brainstorm on things I can tell you too, like, really look to see, if somebody asks you to do custom work, make sure it's wood until you kind of, I don't know. I've had some experiences where I've been dealing with press wood, press board or, you know, IKEA type stuff, and it's not worth it. Let's see, I did paint a dark colored chair. That alarm's there just to stress me out. You know that. What's Julie saying? Jamie, say it out loud.
She painted a dark colored chair from the 1920s. She chalk painted it white, and she did have some pink bleed through. She didn't know why that happened, but she probably could have used some shellac, huh?
Yeah. Chairs are the worst. They're not my cup of tea, I'll be honest with you. And gray, believe it or not, gray.
Yeah, the gray.
Gray can be really bad too. Gray comes out like a yellow. And it's not attractive at all. Even if you're going to distress it, it's just, it does not look nice. The bleed through. But actually, if I'm going to do white, and I'm hesitant that it's going to bleed through, just use the bin. Because bin is white in color. Now, Wise Owl does have a primer, but I cannot speak for it because me and Jamie have not used it yet. So, I can't speak for that. But bin 123 is a great product. But at that point, it's really hard to sand down. It's a little harder just to get that distress look. And I do like the distress look with the white, with some things. This detail's gonna kill us.
I know.
We are doing good though, Jane.
We are.
Okay. So let me see if there's any more questions, and then I think I'm gonna, let me see. It's called bin. I don't have a can of it.
No.
You know what?
Check?
I'll let Jamie entertain you. I'm gonna go see if I have a can. Jamie's gonna entertain you. I may have a can, because it is nice to see these cans, because then you know what to look for. It's called bin.
Bin, B-I-N. 1, 2, 3. Well. Any other questions?
Don't go yet. I'm gonna get it.
Oh, hold on.
I'm gonna see if I can find some for her.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Julie, I don't have any bin on me, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a link after this video, and I'm gonna link it to it. But this is another one. If you're gonna get involved in something that's not wood, I don't recommend it, but if you do, this stuff called sticks. This is not really meant for wood. This is meant for anything other than wood. This stuff is awesome. But again, once you use this, you will not be distressing. But that's a great product too. But what I'll do is I'll put a link of the bin in our comments below. Actually, what I'll try to do is maybe we'll put a link of a lot of the products that we talked about tonight.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think we're going to sign off. If you guys think of any other questions, just let us know, and we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7:30.
Yes.
And we're going to get our wash on.
Yep, we can't wait.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a good night,
everyone.
guys.